Hi and hello and welcome to Two Men On. I, of course, am Fred Slow. Alongside me is Van Nunley, but we're not physically alongside each other. We're home studio remote. Van, welcome to the internet.
Hey, buddy. Look at us. The magic of the interwebs joining us once again, as we should always be.
It's like talking to you is like listening to like early 90s Katie Couric describe what the internet is. Like
I've heard it's exhausting.
you don't have any of the terminology down. You don't
hmm
know any philosophy or understanding. You call data Wi-Fi, which is interesting.
I don't know how it works, and I don't want to.
The big story of the day, the week, the month, or even the year, Van, is Shane Bieber re-upping into this.
Is that it? Is that the story? That's
what
the big news.
That's what we do on the program. We cover news, sports, pop culture, current events of the week that was. We did not go live on Monday. You and I were at WWE Raw, of course. WWE came to Albuquerque this past Monday. Absolute sellout. I think more than a sellout at the Rio Rancho Event Center by my count. And I did this number: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
There's probably 7,000 people in a 6,500 person arena. It is the second smallest arena, Van, that WWE has ever performed Monday Night Raw. And the other one, the Nassau Coliseum in Long Island. So there you go. Fun fact.
Well, it was an absolute blast. The place was electric. Big shout out to Rio Rancho Event Center. You guys did absolutely incredible getting that place ready for Monday Night Raw. And holy moly, was that building rocking.
Yeah, pretty incredible. And, I obviously live in the world of pro wrestling pretty substantially, here in Albuquerque, New Mexico, in the Southwest region. And it's alive and well. I don't know how else to say that. Also, big announcement for supporter of Duke City Championship Wrestling. That is Duke City Toys. December the 13th, Sting is coming to town. That is right, man. You can meet Sting live and in person at Duke City Toys.
Yeah.
I'm excited for that. He's wrapping up the gimmick after this year. He wears the face paint, the crow-inspired face paint.
What?
And then, after 2025, he's retiring it. He's never going to wear it again. So this is literally with only a 3-week window or whatever. This is the last time you'll be able to see Sting in gimmick in person. So how incredible.
Like, I'm a big fan of his early work, especially like with the Police. Like Roxanne is an all-time banger. Like, you don't have to turn on your red light. Am I right, Sting?
It's not that Sting.
Wait, what?
I think I've told this story before. I'll tell it again real quick. Okay. I was at the Super Bowl in 17, the one in Houston. That was Philadelphia. No. That was Atlanta Falcons and the
2023 game.
Yeah. So I'm at that Super Bowl. And all week, you've been to a bunch of Super Bowls with me. There's this opportunity to go to like Super Bowl caliber concerts and entertainment and whatever.
Sure.
So I'm at the Super Bowl, and I have two things in my hands. In my right hands, I have a pair of tickets. And in my left hand...
okay. It's not what I thought you were going to say. Yeah.
And in my left hands, I have a pair of tickets. So in both hands, I have a pair of tickets, okay? And I look at the one of my right hands, and it is the Bud Light Super Bowl official party, whatever, Goo Goo Dolls and Sting.
Okay.
I go, okay, that's a pretty good little concert there. I should go to that. Hosted by Mark Wahlberg. I should go to that. It's a good little concert.
Yeah.
And in my other hand, then up and coming Taylor Swift.
Oh, she wasn't quite Taylor Swift yet at that time.
She was in one era or two era, but it wasn't all the eras.
It wasn't all the eras. Okay.
So I have these tickets in my hand. I can go to Sting or I can go to Taylor Swift. And I say, well, I mean, Sting's an old man. It's been some time. I got to go see Sting. Like, that's the thing I'm going to do. I did not go see Taylor Swift. When I saw Sting, it was very good. And I regret it. I regret it deeply. I should have went and saw Taylor Swift.
Yeah, not only is she the biggest star in the world now, she's your birthday buddy, Freddie.
We have the same birthday. December 13th, which is the exact same day that Sting is going to Duke City Toys. You can see that. I just got my WWE thing for John Cena's final show in DC. So he's doing his...
Oh, my God. On Monday, I was just on the edge of my seat towards the end, just waiting for that Do, 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 do. That never came.
No, it did not come for you.
I did, though.
Okay, interesting. They were great while they were here. WWE, like they showed out to, I feel like the entire city. Like, and it didn't, and it's interesting because it was like the Raw after a pay-per-view, and there's kind of a lot as far as like what that normally means, like storyline or whatever. And CM Punk had just become the champion, and we don't necessarily need to recap all of pro wrestling.
Right.
They usually do something really special for those things. And then for whatever reason, because like here in New Mexico, we have like a loser's mentality. Like here in New Mexico, we're like, well,
maybe
things like we're not fortunate. Like we have this, but they put an absolute banger one, including the return of Rey Mysterio, who you remember from the 90s.
Sure. Yeah. How old is he now? Like 65?
He debuted in 89.
Good Lord.
Isn't that
Speaking
crazy?
of Taylor Swift.
Yeah. That's when she was
So
born.
did she.
Yeah.
Debuted in 89.
And he did a spot with his boy in the ring, and it was maybe the line of the year as his boy was talking about being the king of the luchadors or something similar. And then Rey Mysterio Sr. comes out and he says to Dominic Jr., he says, listen, you're not the king. I'm like, I could be the king, or like Eddie Guerrero could be the king, or these other people. And like 20 years ago, there was a storyline in WWE where Eddie Guerrero, who's the shoot cousin of Rey Mysterio, where he was Dominic Mysterio's storyline father.
Uh-huh.
So in the middle of the ring, Dominic Mysterio hits him with the, don't talk about my dad that way. Talking to his actual dad about his dead uncle, and I'm dying laughing like in the stands. And it hit me, Van, how I've been a fan of pro wrestling for so long. There is a generation of fans in that building. We saw all the kids that just don't have a clue.
Sure.
And I go, this is good.
Yeah. They just got stoked. There's a wrestler in a mask.
They do like that part. The other big news since we've been on is
search your heart, Dominic. I am your father.
That's what he said in the middle of the ring.
You did Bane.
No, that was Darth Vader. I did not do Bane.
I thought that was Bane.
Not that far off.
Merely grew up in the lucha.
That's what I thought you were doing. I thought you were doing.
You have merely adopted the lucha.
I've been a door. That was something else.
Okay.
World Series champions were crowned in what you and I believe to be the greatest World Series that we have ever seen, and arguably the greatest one of all time as it relates to historians. Yoshi Yamamoto, who was most deservingly the World Series MVP, 3 W's over the course of 7 of them, really 8 of them plus if you count total innings played.
Sure.
He is that guy as he induces a double play ball to end out the World Series. You and I watched it together. It's better than Game 6 of the 2011 World Series. It's better than the Astros coming back against the Yankees in the ALCS. It's better than the Yankees coming back against the Red Sox in the ALCS in 03. It's better than
what happened? Missy Elliott. That
strike
yeah.
But it was the best World Series ever.
To me, it is all-time number 3 behind 2017 and 2022. Obviously,
I see what you're doing. Yeah,
absolutely incredible World Series. The 18-inning game, extra innings, Game 7. Except for Game 1, every single game was close. The series had everything a baseball fan would want to see: lead changes, pitching excellence, defensive excellence. The stars all showed up, except for maybe Mookie Betts, but he's still Mookie Betts. Everybody played their ass off, and they put on an absolute show for baseball. I think this is going to give baseball a bump. Even though it was the Blue Jays, even though it was Canada, I think baseball is going to get a huge bump off of this World Series.
It outdrew the NBA Finals last year. It's the only thing it doesn't outdraw is obviously the NFL.
Yeah,
but you're talking about Mookie Betts, who finished the World Series on a 6-3 double play.
Right.
I mean, even if he's not dialed in offensively the entire time, you took arguably one of the best outfielders in the game, moved him over to shortstop, where he became one of the best shortstops instantaneously in the game. And Roberts, who has not received the praise that he should as a manager, and actually I think has been critiqued in a way that's been kind of unfair to the success of the teams that he's managed.
Yeah.
Put every player in the right position every single time, including defensively in center field, including defensively at second base, and then big offensive production from those individuals. It's just every move he made seemed to work out in favor of the Dodgers, and you feel the heartbreak for, I think, Toronto and the entire country of Canada, and you feel the heartbreak for those American players that went to Toronto and fell in love with the city and the support. Max Scherzer is a really good example.
Yeah.
But we're in the middle of a dynasty. Like, it's officially there. Like, there was a conversation about it, but now it's there with the LA Dodgers.
Yeah, I mean, hard agree. And baseball fan out there, bagging on the Dodgers and their ownership and their front office. Like, it's the best team money can buy. Oh, of course they're going to win. Oh, they're supposed to win. Oh, this is what $3 billion gets you, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
You still have to go out there and win games. By the way, Toronto Blue Jays, 4th biggest payroll in baseball. So these are two behemoths going after each other. And look, baseball fan out there who's pissed off at the Dodgers because they're spending all this money and they're getting all the biggest free agents. I mean, you got Shohei Ohtani, an Angel, Freddie Freeman, a Brave, Mookie Betts, a Red Sox, Max Muncy, an A. You got Blake Snell and Tyler Glasnow, Tampa Bay Devil Rays. Like, they're buying all the talent up. But guess what, baseball fan? You're jealous because your team's not doing this. I would like to remind you, baseball fan and Dodger hater, that every single owner in Major League Baseball is a billionaire.
Mm-hmm.
They could all do this tomorrow.
Yeah.
Every single team could start spending money like the Dodgers if they wanted to. One team stepped up and did it, the Dodgers. And not only did they do it, they backed it up and won another World Series.
And then we got to listen to Kiki Hernandez explain why he ran into Andy not Pages. Help me out.
Pages.
Yeah. And why he tried to ruin the game for the Dodgers, and you still can't love them.
Kike, who is an ex-Astro, I wish they would have held on to him. Great utility player, turns it on in the playoffs. But I mean, we were sitting there watching the end of the World Series and, the champagne interviews, and he had one of the best of all time. He said, I feel like the student who all I brought to class was a broken pencil and still got an A on the project. But guess what? I'm still a fucking World Series champ. I was like, oh my God, that is incredible, Kike. The personality, like
all of them, they all have it. It's all
Miguel Rojas, the 9-hole hitter, the game 1 out away from losing the World Series. Your 9-hole hitter hits a absolute piss missile into the left field bleachers, and the Dodgers bench was just as surprised as I was watching the game. They're just hoping that he hits a seeing eye single or hits a blooper over the shortstop to keep the game alive. And here he is, a guy that's only had 7 home runs all year, pops one in the bottom of the 9th with 2 outs to keep your hopes alive. Incredible.
Yeah, he was timely, and then you're talking about the World Series post with the interview, and there was a lot of conversation about him being the microphone guy, and absolutely killed it in the post-game interview. But he's not it, right? Like that Kiki story about running into the center fielder there and trying to screw the game up, or Freddie Freeman hits the walk-off in the 18th and the Dodgers win the deal. And then at the World Series parade, he does the best worm that I've ever seen in a highlight. And you're looking at a team of guys and it's so neat to me because I think this is what every single person aspires to be in the world of profession. Like, you went to work, you became the best you could possibly be at the work that you identify by, and then your job wouldn't pay you. And you went up going to a competitor, the LA Dodgers, if I'm talking about the Atlanta Braves, the LA Dodgers, if I'm talking about the Boston Red Sox, the LA Dodgers, if I'm talking about the Anaheim Angels, the LA Dodgers you see where I'm going with this trend.
Yeah.
And then you got your money. And then you still got to be the same dude. You still got you got to be incredibly good at your craft. And then you have to show your personality off, surrounded by a group of peers that aren't just your peers professionally, they're your peers astronomically. Like these are the best ones in the world. This is every single sports fan's dream.
Right.
And I'm loving it. Like I am the most pro Dodgers individual of all time right now because their organization and their players and their fans get it. Their fans used to be ass. They might still be ass, but I don't see it the way I used to. Also, I used to live in like the San Francisco area, and they were just terrible every time they came up. But Las
They're
Vegas
spending on the best dudes. How can you hate Freddie Freeman?
Yeah.
How can you hate Mookie Betts, who might be a better bowler than a baseball player?
Right.
How can you hate Shohei Ohtani? He just seems like a giant puppy out there doing his best. He's adorable. Like they got some great dudes. You mentioned Kike, Miguel Rojas. The Dodgers are so good. The Dodgers are so good that Miguel Rojas, their bottom of the ninth hero, Kike Hernandez, they're one of the best utility guys in baseball, their locker room glue. These guys might not even make the team next year. They're that good.
That's an interesting thought because they're going to end up in a position. What's the name of the cat? Rendon? Is that the name of the cat that went to Anaheim?
Correct.
Where you end up like becoming, very famous. You end up becoming very name recognized. You end up producing at a certain point, and then you end up getting paid. But there's next man up in these organizations, or for the Dodgers at least, we can easily replace you up.
Yeah, next top of the line free agent up. They're going to go after Kyle Tucker. If they don't get Kyle Tucker, they're going to bring back Cody Bellinger. They're going to keep adding the best of the best to their team, and it's up to the rest of the league to step up to their game going forward because they're not going anywhere. Like collective bargaining agreement after next season, there's going to be a lot of changes to the way you can pay baseball players, but the Dodgers are doing it now, and they're setting themselves up for another 5, 6, 8, 10, whatever year run where they're going to be in the mix every single year. So get used to it. And I'll tell you what, baseball fan, if you are sick of the Dodgers and you're not like us and you like to see excellence, you like to see people having fun, guess what? When the Dodgers lose, whenever they lose to the Brewers in the playoffs, whenever they lose to the Padres in the playoffs, whenever they lose to whoever else is next, wherever they lose to somebody in the American League in the World Series, it's going to be that much sweeter because David just beat Goliath. It's going to make it that much better when it happens.
Well, the Goliath-David aspect is really neat, right? Because the Dodgers on their worst day can be beat by any team on their best day.
Yeah.
And the Blue Jays were 3 times on their best day. But even during those times, Bo Bichette's getting picked off at first base because he thinks there's a walk, or you're getting doubled up from flyouts to left center, and I can keep running the list. Like, you have to be perfect.
Correct.
To beat the Dodgers. And being perfect is a crazy concept. No one is perfect. Not even the Dodgers. But they're so damn good that they don't have to be. But if they're at their worst, they can be beat. We won't see them at their worst.
The Dodgers didn't have the number 1 seed in the National League. The Dodgers didn't have home field advantage in the World Series. They weren't this giant behemoth. I mean, they are, but they weren't as dominant as we thought they're going to be this year. They weren't challenging for the all-time wins record, which I think going forward, they'll have a chance to every single year. But I think their redeeming quality is what we were talking about earlier. They're nice, fun guys. Like, they enjoy the game. It's a fun locker room. They're doing dances. They're throwing sunflower seeds on each other. Like, they're there supporting each other. They're having a blast doing what they're doing. They're not a bunch of stuck-up jerks like, the last time the Yankees tried to buy a World Series and they all hated each other in the locker room and it got into the way of their own success. They're doing it together as a team in a cool-ass, fun clubhouse and locker room.
They're also only hated by 29 cities.
Oh, that's it. Yeah.
The world supports them. Like, East Asia supports them. All of baseball supports all of South America supports them. All the Dominican supports them. All of Mexico supports them. And that's because they're growing the game. I saw that the World Series Game 7 outdrew the NBA Game 7 by like 10 million viewers or something domestically.
Incredible.
Worldwide, it was way more. But that's the thing about this game is if you can get a worldwide pillar, like the way the Yankees used to be, or the way Notre Dame used to be, or the way that Dallas Cowboys used to be, it's only going to help you, the Chicago Bulls. It's only going to help you like catapult your product. And they're currently that thing. And Major League Baseball would be well served to not mess it up in 2027. Major League Baseball would be well served through the collective bargaining agreement to say, what did they already gave up weed testing? What's the other thing they'll do? Shorter IR, more bereavement, more, I don't know what they'll do. But it would be foolish for Major League Baseball to at all screw with this recipe, because right now it makes more, it's more entertaining. And outside of the teams that never want to try to win, now my St. Louis Cardinals, it's as absolutely perfect as it's going to get, I think. I don't think there's a way to make it better currently.
I would appreciate a couple tweaks. I think for the luxury tax for the high-end teams, it needs to be more painful for the guys who are going to blow past the salary cap and get into the luxury tax.
Mm-hmm.
And
Like
I do believe, yeah, and I do like really punish them if they go over. And also, I think most importantly, there has to be a salary floor for teams who get profit sharing. If you get revenue sharing from Major League Baseball, you have to spend all that money on your team. You can't keep being the Pittsburgh Pirates, who have a beautiful stadium, a hardcore fan base,
right?
And they just spend pennies because they know their fans are going to show up every time. You have to spend X amount of money that you receive in revenue sharing and invest that in your team, invest that in your organization, and actually try to win, because it's obvious that every single season you start the year, there's 5 teams that got a great chance. There's 5 more teams that got a good chance. On the other end of that, there's 10 teams who will not be in the playoffs whatsoever. You 100% know that. And there's like another 10-team gray area in the middle that could go either way. It needs to be more competitive, where the have-nots are still in the mix.
I think you have to have an incentive program with your ownership. Like the thing that gets me is, like you said, using the Pirates or the Reds or whoever, where you're just printing money because you have the branding. The Colorado Rockies,
yeah,
you're just printing. The Colorado Rockies sell out games. They don't on the field. They don't sell out any effort on the field. They don't have we know the manager personally of the Colorado Rockies.
Sure, he's in my phone right now.
We understand what it takes to win at the major league level. And they're not interested in that with the Rockies organization. They're interested in dollars. And if we talk about teams like Tampa Bay, for instance, Tampa Bay has been pocketing earnings for years, and Tampa Bay is going to sell. Tampa Bay is going to sell their team. They're going to make off with all of the monies. There'll be a new owner. I heard Shad Khan was going to buy it. I don't know if that's true at all. But you're going to end up in a situation where there's no incentive to try to win. Now, if you did this is a real sentence. If you did like a revenue share that was based off like your season finish, like if you did something of that nature,
sure,
where not everyone gets a equal split of the pooled whatever, and maybe you set like a floor with every team where it's like, hey, you can get your operating cost plus 5-10%, whatever, either way, and then everything else we pool into a 30-team pool. And we weight it 30 through 1. And if you are number 1, you get the most. And if you are number 30, good luck in your draft pick. You get the least. I
mean, there's something to that. There's definitely something to that. But again, like your Pirates, your Reds, your Rays, all the rest of the small market teams, there's gonna be a financial gap no matter what. That's why the system exists in the first place, is to help these teams compete with the big dogs. But instead of actually using it to be able to compete, they just pocket it. It goes straight into their pocket. We've talked about this before on the program. The most profitable teams in baseball aren't the Yankees, aren't the Dodgers, aren't the Red Sox, aren't the Astros, because these guys are spending a lot of their profit. They're making money, no doubt, but they're spending more than they make compared to the bottom of the bucket teams who are just putting it right into their pocket. That revenue goes right into the owner's box, and they keep it and they hoard it, and they don't use it to try to put out a product to make their fans happy, to get their fans excited. Because I promise you, all these small market teams, especially in working communities, industrial areas, these guys want a winning product so bad, and they will keep showing up in the Rust Belt, in the Midwest, in the South. Like, it doesn't have to be the 5 biggest cities in the country spending money and competing. These other guys, we can set them up for success in the future. And I think that's going to be the biggest talking point. And we're still a year plus away from these discussions. But I think that's going to be the biggest movement in Major League Baseball going forward.
Well, let's you and I, for the next 4 months, find a hobby that we'll never really fall in love with, because we know spring training starts in February.
Sure.
And we'll try to stave off the depression from early onset nighttime, because for some reason we still believe that daylight savings time is a real practice in this country. And then immediately following that, fall back in love with baseball. You want to do that?
I don't want to wake up at 6 a.m. just to get enough vitamin D not to get depression.
I literally do that.
I need a one of those sun lamps next to my bed to get a little sunshine during the night.
We talk politics whenever we get back. It's too long. Welcome back to 2 Men On. Welcome back to the program. Thank you for joining us the way that you do join us, which is possibly a podcast. It's probably a podcast.
Either or, baby.
That's what they do. We are still in the works on a very big announcement. It's taking a little bit longer than we thought, but I tell you what, when something's important, it takes a little bit of effort. So make sure you stay tuned to our social media outlets, as Van and I are going to make a very important professional announcement in the upcoming weeks. We believe November for sure. We thought it was going to be October. It wasn't. That's the end of that explanation.
A lot of pots on the fire, baby. We are working on a lot of cool things. Multiple, not just one. Don't you expect one big announcement? We got a few coming.
Yeah, like 6, 7.
Nice. Fred learned what 6'7" was today, friend of the show, and he's just trying to sneak it in wherever he can and never does it right.
I feel like that was pretty good. That was like on a scale of 1 to 10, that was like a 6, 7.
All right, I'm out of here.
I just thought that was a very good one as well. I'm good at radio. That's my thing. Is Blue Wave overplayed? Like, I don't know what phrasing to use here.
I mean, how about a statement election?
Okay.
I think indicative of what's to come. General unhappiness is showing forth.
Yeah.
Was there a part of the country that multiple red candidates won in the same spot?
Nope.
The answer is no.
They all lost. We're 36 days into a government shutdown at the time of this recording. Virginia went Democrat. Well, and keep in mind that like Donald Trump laid off everyone that lived in Virginia, because that's where everyone that works in DC lives. But you kind of get the point on what I'm talking about.
Yeah, whoopsie. My God, the consequences of my own actions. How could this possibly happen to me?
Why are you here, consequences?
Oh my God.
It's going to be different. It's going to be real different, I think, for a minute. And it's going to be 1 year, right? Because we have to do elections next year.
Mm-hmm.
And then 2027 midterms. And that's the one, right? Because with Mamdani in New York, and then the other ones as well, but we'll just put focus on him because that's kind of where the story's at. Also, was it you that pointed out to me, or the internet was pointing out the death of Dick Cheney on the day that a Muslim became mayor of New York City? Like, irony, like at its finest, you know? With that said.
Well, no, the day before, because he knew that he couldn't see it. He didn't live to see it, so.
That's dark stuff. And Dick Cheney is going to get the revisionist history that like Charlie Kirk has gotten, you know, where it's going to end up being a positive thing. He ended up fighting with Trump at the end, blah, blah, blah. But
yeah,
I mean, do not for a second forget about all of it.
Everything.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't forget about everything he did.
No.
Try to sabotage this country.
And you're in this like very interesting one, right? Because we're so polarized. We
Yeah.
are so incredibly polarized. Also, we had a micro election here in Albuquerque for mayoral and some city councilor seats, and it's this is at all levels. So you have the idea of traditional Democrat, you have the idea of traditional Republican, and then you have all these like variations in between.
Yeah.
And that can be GOP, and that can be MAGA, and that can be liberal, and that can be progressive, and that can be, we can fill them all out. And if you're on either end of either spectrum, you're crazy. I don't even know how to not mince words in that. You are nuts. If you are the most red hat ticking, MAGA loving, hate mongering loser, you are nuts. If you are the most left leaning, you identify as progressive, but it's something incredibly worse. Social construct molding weirdo. Like, I cannot stress this to either of you. I don't want my crosswalks painted rainbows. I also don't want you to arrest everyone who has to live on the street. Both these things are true.
Oh my God. Are you talking about the Goldilocks zone? Are you talking about a reasonable gray area in between radical ideology? Oh my God. Are you talking about the place that humanity should live in? Oh, okay. Cool. That's where I want to be.
And I need a bunch of people out there to get it. Because this Mondani thing is interesting because he's talking about bringing in like government run grocery stores. And he's talking about, by the way, I'm a fan of socialism. I'm a fan of socialism to the degree of, if you think there's a difference in giving out $8 trillion a month in SNAP benefits and a government run grocery store, you don't understand what socialism is.
Yeah.
You don't understand cutting out the middleman, which is the Kroger lobbyist, which says, no, hand out that money so they can shop at my private enterprise so I can pay out my stockholders. Like, that's what you don't get.
Correct.
But I'm going to tell you this. You can't do it everywhere. That works in New York. And if you blue-leaning, progressive-leaning, whatever leaning person thinks, we should just adopt these democratic socialist approaches, it won't work where you are. It'll work there. But the rest of this country has to calm the F down on one example of success.
And then using socialism as like a cuss word.
Yeah,
like,
don't do that.
Socialism is okay when we're paying off farmers. Socialism is okay when we keep Amtrak alive.
Mm-hmm.
Socialism is okay when we bail out banks. Socialism is okay when we make sure the airlines run. Socialism is okay when we have hospitals, roads, all that's okay when that happens. But when it comes to some poor single mother who's trying to feed her family, then socialism is the worst thing we could ever happen in the history of the world. This is ridiculous.
Well, and there's an irony, right? Like, hey, you want to bail out car manufacturers? You want to help GMC?
Yeah.
That's what you want to do. You want to give them all the money in the world? Give it to them. And then immediately, GMC based in Detroit, then immediately you want to put a tariff on cars sold to Canada? Where the F are they going to sell their cars in Detroit? Like, none of it makes sense. Also, this is, and it's going to the Supreme Court right now because it was decided by a court of law that a lot of these tariffs are illegal and they can't exist. So now all these collected tariffs, they're going to come back in rebate checks. The government's going to write big ass checks back to Walmart. They're going to write big ass checks back to all these corporations. Their stock value is going to go through the roof. And you know where that money's not going to go? You want to know where it's not going to trickle down to? You're not going to get a refund as a consumer. You're not going to get a credit on your Sam's Club card. You're not going to see savings on the shelves. You got worked. Everyone got flipping worked. It's insane how smart this work was.
100%. And it's not just like it happened in a year.
No,
it didn't happen last administration. It didn't happen the previous Trump administration. What you're seeing now in this country, I believe, started with Ronald Reagan in the 80s, trickle down economics. And then, you had No Child Left Behind, and you had repeal of Glass-Steagall. You got, the fairness doctrine taken away. We got Citizens United. We got thing after thing after thing that if it happens over a 30, 40-year period and you get little piece of your democracy taken away, piece of your democracy taken away over a longer period of time, it's not as drastic as a single authoritarian takeover that happens overnight. If all of your rights are slowly stripped away, everything that made America, the greatest country on the planet, slowly gets taken away. You don't notice when it happens over decades and decades, but who's the boogeyman now?
Yeah.
Is it okay? I think we evolved past the trans people in bathrooms. I think we evolved past stealing from welfare. I think we've evolved past a lot of these things. Okay, now that we got a African Muslim, the mayor of the world city, now we're going to be scared of socialism again. Now it's not socialism, it's communism. Now
Right.
he's Mamdani. I've been seeing it all over Facebook, by the way. You know, my small town, Carlsbad, New Mexico, that I went to middle school and high school, where my family's from. That's the pulse of the country for me. Whenever any like big news story comes, I check in on what Carlsbad Facebook has to say. And guess what? New York just hired a terrorist sympathizer. He's been funded by ISIS and Al-Qaeda. The only reason that he got elected is because Al-Qaeda and ISIS put billions of dollars into his campaign. This is the ramblings of insane people. Like, if you're actually able to buy this package, what's coming on? He's a socialist. He's going to ruin the economy. He's actually a terrorist sympathizer. He's a plant to ruin the country. You are an idiot of epic proportions, and I feel sorry for not only you, your progeny, and generations that come after you. And I hope we're able, as a people and as a citizenry and a country, to remedy the ills that you've caused to this place.
You know, there's always a boogeyman, right?
Got to be a bad guy.
Yeah, you and I were talking earlier. This is not on the air. This is just you and I as friends. And I was talking to how I'm working I tell jokes. Like, that's what I do for my life. And I'm like, hey man, I'm working a bit where it's, today's, real like economic issue is microplastics. I was like, in the generation before us, it was mesothelioma, which is asbestos, and the generation before that was lead. And I'm like trying to work this bit with you. I don't know what the next thing is. It's not worked out, but it's the same idea with boogeymen. Where for me, now it's the way I see it. Now it's the woke culture. It's the MAGA culture. For real, I thought it was COVID skeptics and COVID deniers. And then before that, with Donald Trump, it was the fake news media and ISIS, and before and I'm not saying that there's not a degree of real to all these things, but before that, the Al Qaeda, and before that, like in the 90s, it was Saddam Hussein, and it was gang members and rap culture. And before that, it's welfare recipients and super predators. And it was before that, AIDS epidemic. And before it was the war on drugs. You remember Reagan stuff also. And it was the Big Red Scare. And we could keep going back, right?
Yeah.
The Black Panther Party in the 60s. We could keep going back. And if you are now at a point where you can pick every single one and you can apply every single historic boogeyman to today's culture, you're going to find a fucking boogeyman everywhere. You got to start living like in the factual existence of what is going on, which is like the extreme idea, belief, implication, application of a singular viewpoint does not exist. It doesn't exist to the degree to try to harm others.
You keep your citizenry scared.
Yeah.
You keep them in fear. You keep them distracted. You keep them entertained. And you could do anything you want behind their back. And we've seen this for too long in modern American politics. It's so divisive. It's so disgusting. And there's no true red versus blue. There's no true woke versus red hat. You're being absolutely abused.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're being abused. You're being puppeteered. Like, I don't want to sound like a hippie conspiracy theory guy, because this issue goes without argument that you're being manipulated. And this is both sides. I'm not talking just to the red hats. I'm not talking just to the woke hippies. I'm not talking just to the purple hairs. Like, I'm talking to everybody, even Joe Schmo. It happens to me pretty often where I see some story that's trying to enrage me and get me mad and try to formulate an enemy. You're trying to get me to pick a side and find an enemy and fight them. And I have too much going on in my life to invest in all of your fear and debauchery to where I have to hate my fellow citizens. Do I think some of you are idiots? Yes, I do. Do I think some of you are way more easily manipulated sheep than others? Absolutely, I do. But I'm very aware of what's happening to our citizens in the United States on both sides who are being manipulated. You're being played by your party to not, I mean, historically, we had policy-based politics, policies over people. I'm not a fan of any one politician. I'm a little more of a Bernie guy than I am anybody else.
Sure.
But that's because I want poor people to have access to health care and go to college. It's pretty simple. But after that, hey, guess what? First Amendment, Second Amendment, sign me the hell up. Oh my God, a free market economy? You damn right. But can we do that based on people having basic human rights? Because I hear it all the time. We're the greatest country in the world, but we're also the only first world without universal health care. We're also the only first world country without access to college for everyone. It's pretty pathetic that we can't do that. And then one guy in New York City who just so happens to be brown wants to provide that for his citizens, and now he's the bad guy. Now he's a terrorist sympathizer. Like, this is insane, the narratives are being pumped into people, and they just got their big spoon and the biggest bowl they have, and nom, 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 nom. It's pathetic. This is a sports show.
It's sometimes you go back 100 years, like 100. We weren't alive. Basically, everyone alive today wasn't. But you know the history of it, right? Like, you can't forget. Like 100 years ago, the 1920s, you know who the villain was then? Unions. You know who the villain was then? Anyone who was willing to go on strike. They were literally called strike busters. Yeah. You know who the villain was then? Any immigrant who, by the way, people living today, you're descended from, like that came in to try to make a living wage. And then
you know who's the real problem here? These uppity broads that want to vote.
And they got that right.
Yeah, we don't want these women speaking for us.
Yeah, and then I mean, Warren G. Harding became president, but that was a thing that sucked. But then you get into the 1930s, and you have obviously Black Monday and the stock market collapse and the Great Depression, and you know who was the enemy then? And this is the craziest part. It was capitalists, and it was bankers.
Yeah,
and that should have happened again. That should have happened in 2008. That should have happened in 2016. That should have happened again. But the propaganda machine is so powerful now compared to what it historically was, to where we got duped. We got duped into not thinking that all these things that Mondani wants, that your local mayor wants, that your city council wants, that your governor wants, that your state rep wants, that your state senator wants, that your governor wants. You can have all of these things, United States of America. You don't have to cut a single fucking one. You can just tax your billionaires. Some.
Mom Donnie in New York, people are up in arms that he's going to increase taxes. You know who it's for? People who make more than $1 million a year. You know how much the tax increase is going to be? 2%. If you're not willing to give 2% more for public transportation, for better sanitation, for poor people to have access to food and housing and clothing and healthcare, you are a piece of shit of epic proportion, and history will judge you accordingly.
Well, and we live in New Mexico. You know, New Mexico, as of November 1st, no income requirements for universal child care. You can make any amount of money in the state of New Mexico as long as you are working or in pursuit of finding work. As long as you can be one of those two things, the state of New Mexico will pay. They will flip the bill to watch your kid. And you know what's already started to happen? People are moving to New Mexico. It started to work immediately. What you couldn't afford in Florida, what you couldn't afford in Texas, what you couldn't afford in California and Arizona. By the way, all these places are fine. I'm not saying forget them. But I'm saying now these people are coming to this community where they can make what is usually identified as a livable wage without the substantial cost of childcare, and they can exist comfortably, and they can be contributors to our community. And by the way, they pay taxes, and those taxes go towards those services. Yeah. And if you New Mexican, because I hear it, if you New Mexican say, we don't want you here because you just want our free stuff, I need to fix you too.
Sure.
Shut the door on anyone else. I dare you. Because watch how fast the people inside of that door will try to open it for them. And there's this crazy concept that for some reason these 50 states are against each other, and they're just not. They're not at all. And I need everyone that surrounds me and the people that surround they to understand that there is a centric belief that people deserve a handful of core values. Include the Constitution, include the Bill of Rights. But you deserve to be safe, you deserve to be fed, you deserve to have access to basic needs. And the state of New Mexico is at the forefront of giving those with universal child care and universal secondary education, including college and trade schools. And please come. Please come and make this state the best damn one, because all these other people seem to be giving up on theirs. And it's incredibly saddening to me where we currently live, where we can't see an opportunity to help anyone outside of the exact vision that we all, for some reason, were told to have. Let's go.
All this money that's going to be saved on childcare, where does it go? Back into the economy.
100%.
What are these families going to do with the up to $12,000 a year that they save on childcare? Guess what they're going to do? They're going to buy new houses. Yeah. They're going to own a home. Guess what? They pay property taxes. Guess what? They're going to buy more consumer goods. Guess what? Sales taxes. They're going to invest in their local economy. Guess what? These people might have had a PDF file. They might have had a spreadsheet on their computer for 5 years for this small business they want to start, and they never could because they couldn't afford childcare. Guess what? Those people get to start small businesses now. Guess what? They get to invest in the local economy. And then you mentioned it earlier, this is going to draw in people from other states here to live here and open more businesses and be employees and be taxable consumers, to be taxable citizens to the state of New Mexico. This is a all-around good thing, and if you can't see that, you're part of the problem.
Well, they're not from New Mexico, therefore I don't like them. Their kids are going to be.
Yeah, guess what? Their kids are Mexicans.
Yeah. You know what? I don't have kids. I can't afford kids. Oh wait, I can now.
Yeah,
and it's not true for me.
Their kids are going to get addicted to green chili. Their kids are going to get Zia tattoos on their neck. Yeah. Their kids are going to have a little balloon tramp stamp. Like, these kids are going to go to UNM in New Mexico State, and they're going to fall in love with how incredible and beautiful it is here, and they're going to help grow Albuquerque and grow Las Cruces and grow every single city in this great state. This is helping. This is progress.
It can be everywhere. It can literally be everywhere. And then, but I mean, you're going to run into dumb shit. You're going to run into Mike Johnson's, and you're going to run into this. I mean, because this shutdown is going to last till the new year. You know, and the last time the government shutdown stopped was because air traffic controllers stopped showing up. They already stopped showing up.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what step is the next step, but it's coming up real fast, because you can't have your populace unpaid. You can't have them hungry, and you can't present bread and circus all the time to try to distract them from the existence that they are all currently in.
Republicans right now control the White House, obviously.
Sure.
All the major cabinet positions, obviously. The House, the Senate, the Supreme Court, and a majority of governors in the United States. And somehow Democrats are being blamed from the shutdown. If you believe that, once again, from a few of the topics we've discussed, you're part of the problem.
Politics are wild right now, but how fortunate we are in today's day and age, Van, to still have Topanga on Dancing with the Stars. Like,
quit hating your neighbors. Quit hating your neighbors. They're just like you.
They're just like you. I was on the local news last night because I was at my business partner is running for mayor of Albuquerque. I'm at his watch party. He is historically very Republican. I am historically very Democrat, and probably a little more libertarian than Democrat, but it's kind of hard to really apply that to the masses. Right. So you just bear with me here. I know him incredibly well. He's a person that I've seen at arm's length help a ton of people.
Yeah.
But because you were told to be afraid of people that don't align with you perfectly for your entire life, which is an incredibly sad dissertation, you want to send on like this cell phone that I have, although also this market, this is like a top 50 media market we're in, and you and I were fortunate to be in it for some time. It's moments like this might yearn for a bigger one, because like the ridicule and the relapse, you don't understand. Like, you don't have to meet everything with aggression. You can meet things with inquiry. You can meet things with idea. You can meet things with question. And it's wild to me how, for whatever reason, societally, we all already have the answer. How about any of us have the question?
Sure.
We all already have the answer. This blue wave doesn't last if it stops at this election. Like, that's cliche, I get it, but like you need another story that's Mondani. You need another story that is so polar. California receding, because we're the big scary state of Texas, and California is quite a bit bigger. You gotta figure it out, United States. Like, and I don't know that is it Gavin Newsom? I don't know who that person is. He's probably gonna run.
He knows how to talk shit, and he's got his hair slicked backwards. So I mean, it might have to be him. He can talk smack with all the red hats. So maybe it is.
Maybe
I'm not that crazy about him. I'm not that crazy with what he's done with California, but compared to a lot of other places, comparison is a thief of joy. But I mean, if you compare him to a lot of other people in his position around the country, yeah, net positive.
Pritzker doesn't look cool enough.
I'm gonna give you that.
He's got his stuff together, but my dude, get an Ozempic pen.
Your boy likes a good cheeseburger. He's the Andy Reid of governors.
I mean, he's in Chicago. He's a deep dish guy.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Real deep.
We're at the very
deep fried deep dish.
We're at the very end of it. Good job today. Good little remote broadcast also for everyone who stuck with us to the end. We were testing out some new technology. It worked really well. So I'm super happy about the end result of this one. Van, final words before we let it loose today?
I said it earlier. Love your neighbor. Don't hate your neighbor because they think differently. Please, pretty please.
I'd encourage you to just stop hating everyone.
Not everyone. Some deserve it.
Some deserve it.
Yeah, some deserve it. Less than you think they do.
Poor Van Nunley. I am Fred Slow. Good job, everyone. Keep breathing.